Albert Einstein once said, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." So the first step to growth is having that desire to change. And I've been hearing about this psychedelic drink called ayahuasca, and that you can only find it in South America, and also the life-changing effects that it has had on some people. So I decided to give it a try on my yearly trip to Ecuador. The idea of this trip was to make significant changes in what I'm trying to accomplish. And if I want the external world to change, it has to start with the world within. So I packed my bags and I embarked on a journey of a lifetime. So ayahuasca is an Amazonian drink mixture made out of vine and plant. The plant used in this mixture has high levels of this psychedelic substance called DMT, which has the power to induce an altered state of consciousness. People use ayahuasca for many reasons. Most of them are just spiritual reasons. In my case, I wanted to use ayahuasca as a tool for personal growth and to expand my consciousness and awareness of myself. So there are things in our psyche that because of the environment that we live in, it's so hard to be aware of. I am surrounded by so many distractions that do not let me tap into that deeper self that I want to. So from all the research that I've done about this psychedelic drink, it pretty much comes down to this. Ayahuasca will separate you from who you think you are and will show you who you truly are. Now, the trip was not only about that. I did have some fun while I was there. But after all that, I got to visit family, and there were things that I saw that made me realize how important freedom is. And that when you take that away from a man, then and only then he seems to realize what it's like to live. And many of us take our freedom for granted and don't take advantage of all the opportunities that we have. People keep asking me, why was I doing such a crazy thing? You know, some had positive comments and others had negative ones. But at the end of the day, everybody has always something to say. Most of the time, I just say what people expected me to say about this whole crazy idea. However, for me, it was just not another adventure or another of my crazy ideas. I felt like it was more of a calling. So I woke up one day feeling the need to know more about myself. What is my true purpose about everything that I do, and who am I becoming in the process?
La guerra pronto se acabará, que en el mundo al fin reinará.
In this self-discovery process, I wanted to know, who have I become? Working with kids, I often ask myself, at what point in our lives do we lose our imagination and our love for who we truly are? And by asking myself this question of who have I become, it pretty much implies that at some point I lost myself. That when I was a child, my soul was pure. I was open and uncorrupted by the environment that I grew up in. So watching my son, I realized that as we enter society, we tend to lose our childlike love for the real world. And we start to judge and compare ourselves to our friends, our neighbors, and peers. So we develop this identity that it's created by the external world, an identity that is not even ours.
Con tanta furia,
While you're under the ayahuasca effects, you become who you truly are. And it's shown to you in all different kinds of ways. This is why a lot of people are afraid of the consequences of the ayahuasca, because of the things that it will show you about yourself. So there's no conscience when you're under the ayahuasca, and there's no ego to hold you back from seeing the real you. So if you have demons in your closet, you're in for a real trip.
It was a big world, but we thought we were bigger. Pushing each other to the limits, we were learning quicker. By 11, smoking herb and drinking burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife or you will be lonely. Once I was 11 years old.
So after doing the ayahuasca, once I woke up from this really long night's sleep, or what I thought was a long night's sleep, I had no idea the ayahuasca was still in my system. And things got really interesting. I started to see things, and I was just talking to people, so I wasn't sure if what I was seeing or who I was talking to was real or it was just my imagination.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new feeling good. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world, and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how
ayahuasca retreat was 3 days and 2 nights. And by the third day, I felt so good and so free of negativity and stress. I felt like I could do anything and everything and not be anxious or stressed about it. My mind felt at ease, and this is the point that, or when I knew all the physical changes that I needed to start to make. And I started to analyze everything that I just had gone through. Throughout this trip, I learned that my life is so hectic, or was so hectic, and even while I was under the ayahuasca, I kept saying, we have to go, we have to go. And the shaman would just ask me, where? And all I would do is stare at him and say, I don't know. So I was able to see how I was living. I was so obsessed with being successful so fast that I didn't even know where I was going. I was in such a rush to get nowhere, and I feel like so many people live that way. The first night that I was there, during my ayahuasca trip, I almost choked. I remember drinking water, and it felt like I was swallowing a rock. So I started to choke on pretty much nothing. I thought, I'm gonna die. I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm gonna die. But the shaman would just tell me, let it go, don't fight it, relax, breathe slowly, and think. Think about where you are and what's going on. Remember that you're under the ayahuasca now. And at that moment, I immediately thought about my son and how when he gets overwhelmed, I tell him the same exact things, to relax, to breathe, and to think about what he needs to do in order not to feel like that anymore. And all I kept saying to myself was, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. As if I was talking to my son. Sometimes it's good to let go and let God or the universe or Mother Nature, whatever it is that you believe in, take its course. And once you let go of all those fears and the stress and the anxiety and everything that just overwhelms you, the universe will find a way to make it all right again.
I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Now that I'm back, I feel so at peace. The last night of my ayahuasca ceremony while I slept, I remember talking to a bunch of different people, like face to face, one after another. People that I haven't seen in a long time, and some were family, some were friends. I saw people that I was mad at some point, and people that I felt like they were mad at me for whatever reason. And I remember speaking to everyone, and I remember apologizing to everyone that was there, everyone that I was mad at, and everyone that was mad at me. The ayahuasca has different effects on everyone that tries it. In my case, it made me very, very, very sleepy. And I feel like it was trying to make me catch up on all the lack of sleep that I had in the past. So I'm at peace now. And wherever I go, I am there.
Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dare to, why, oh, why can't I
is that you don't need to stop being who you are. You just need to interpret all the dreams and the visions that you had and make changes in your life to become who you truly are. Meaning, who would you be if you had no ego? So, whoever you are now does not mean you're a fake person. It just means that you can always be better. And that was my point. I wanted to get better by doing this. And what the ayahuasca does, it shows you things that you can improve within yourself in order to become a better person. Now, you need to have the willpower in order to make those changes. While you're on your trip, your subconscious will show you what your conscious never will. And it's up to you to make those changes.